This is Yogeshwar 7000 again, and I'm back on my series on Saturn transits 2017. And as you know, that Saturn is going to be transiting from its current position in Scorpio into the next position, which is Sagittarius, and that'll happen on January the 26th 2017. And this time it's going to be a little special because the effects may be felt for a little longer. Normally Saturn stays in one zodiac sign for 2.5 years, but this time the effect is going to be for 3 years because it will move from Scorpio into Sagittarius on Jan the 26th, and it's going to come back into Scorpio and go back and forth a few times. And I do not want to confuse you by giving you those dates, but eventually when it finally moves from Sagittarius to the next zodiac sign, which is Capricorn, it will be January of 2020. So between January of 2017 and January of 2020, it's 3 years, so it's an extended 6 months period. So I'm not saying that the effects while Saturn is in Scorpio and while it is in Sagittarius are going to be similar. The effects are going to be different, definitely, but generally the impact will be for 3 years, just because this transit into Capricorn has been delayed by another 6 months because of Saturn going back and forth from Scorpio into Sagittarius and Sagittarius back into Scorpio and then Scorpio into Sagittarius. Okay, so this is a little more important as far as the transit is concerned. Generally Saturn is a very important transit. We know that because one, it's a major malefic, and two, it is a very slow moving planet. It stays in one zodiac sign for 2.5 years, so it gives a longer lasting impact. So as you can see on the screen, today we'll be talking about the effect of Saturn transit into Sagittarius zodiac sign for Capricorn moon sign people. So looking at the screen, you see number 10 on the ascendant. Please do not get confused by this, because this video is not for Capricorn ascendant or Capricorn Lagna people. This number 10 means Capricorn, and this is for people whose moon sign is Capricorn, meaning which, look at your natal birth chart, and if moon is sitting in Capricorn, then your moon sign is Capricorn, and then this video is for you. Or if you look at your natal birth chart and you see moon sitting on the number 10, and 10 represents Capricorn anyways for people who are not very familiar with astrology, then also, you know, this video is for you because your moon is in Capricorn. Why? Because as per the ancient scriptures, it is very clearly mentioned that transits or gochara should be considered from the moon, not from the ascendant. Okay, so we are considering the gochara, this transit, from the moon sign, not from the ascendant. Having said that, there are certain other scriptures which do describe the effect of planets from the ascendant as well, but the rules are completely different, so do not get confused. This video is for people whose moon sign is Capricorn, not the ascendant is Capricorn. So for Capricorn ascendant people, this video is not for you, but for Capricorn moon sign people, this video is for you. So what will be the impact of this major transit of Saturn, which is happening on January the 26th for Capricorn moon sign, is that I do not have great news for you. I'm sorry. Why? Because so far in the last 2.5 years, while Saturn was 11th from your moon, from your natal moon, you had a great time in terms of, you know, forming great business partnerships, making money both in a job or a business, you know, jumping or moving up the ladder as far as your career is concerned, you know, fulfillment of desires. All that was great, but now you will be having a slightly, well, I wouldn't say slightly, but a major challenge, because you are going to be entering your Sade Sati period, and Sade Sati is the 7.5 years transit of moon which is considered inauspicious. When moon goes into 12th from the natal moon, that is 2.5 years, plus when it moves into the next zodiac sign, which is right on top of moon, which is another 2.5 years, and then next when it moves into second from the natal moon. So this 2.5 plus 2.5 plus 2.5 years, which is a total of 7.5 years, is considered inauspicious as per the ancient scriptures. I know a lot of astrologers, modern day astrologers, will keep saying, well, there's nothing called Sade Sati, there's nothing called the 7.5 years inauspicious period. But yes, we've seen that happen. We've checked out through various or many birth charts that this is a very dreaded, and actually it does give you inauspicious results. I'm not trying to scare you, but I'm just trying to warn you so that you can be a little more cautious. Okay, so when in this case for Capricorn moon sign people, it's going to be entering the 12th house from the natal moon, and this position is bad in terms of your expenditure. So far in the last 2.5 years, you've been getting, or you've been getting your fulfillment of desires. So it was income, and now it is moving into expenditure. So not just money, but a lot of other things. Your health could be at danger. 12th house represents hospitalizations, hospitals as well, and sometimes people who become renunciates as well, as far as 12th house is concerned, because of so many problems they incur in their lives. 12th house is the time when there is other factors or other combinations in your birth chart which can give you indications of renunciation. You can see that happen in the transit of Saturn when Saturn is 12th from the moon. Also, if there are other indications of major health issues in the birth chart, this transit of Saturn in the 12th house will give you indications of hospitalization. Okay, so you just do not look at it in a very general way. You also look at your main birth chart. So if all the combinations meet, this is a very dangerous period for you, both for losing money, losing anything pretty much, your spouse, your children, your happiness, your career, and your health. All of this is going to come in play, provided, so I'm qualifying my statement here, provided the birth chart, the birth chart indicates those things happening in terms of, if there's a problem in your birth chart related to a spouse, this transit is going to be giving you an indication that this is the time when you have to be very careful as far as losing your spouse is concerned, and through a divorce or even death. In case there is a problem in your birth chart, birth chart related to children, this is a time where there could be problems related to children. In case there is a problem which is indicated by other planets and the combinations in your birth chart related to your career or business or job, this is the time when you could lose it, or lose money through your business or a job. So don't jump to a conclusion. It's just a transit. It will give you challenging effects, but you have to look at your other combinations in your birth chart and get it analyzed by a good Vedic astrologer. Okay, so this is like I said, the Sade Sati 7.5 years period as per our ancient scriptures is a very, very tough period of time, especially when the first part of the 7.5 years period happens. There could be losses all around. Okay, so be very careful. Try to deal with your children, try to look after their health first, and then people who have grown up children can try to focus on maintaining good and cordial relationships with their children, and even other family members. Try to make good cordial relationships with your wife, your spouse, your husband, whoever is in relationship here, or even as far as romances are concerned. One has to be very careful. This is not a great period to build strong romantic relationships and even plan marriages. Okay, but first and foremost, the most critical thing is the health part that has to be taken into consideration. Okay, and family members, I've already mentioned to you, do not undertake major vacations or long distance travel during this period, or even if you're planning some pilgrimages, like going up high up into the mountains to the Himalayas, for example, Kailash or Yatra or anything, just try to postpone it for a few years until you have a better transit. Saturn is a major malefic, and you have to be extremely careful on that account. Money matters. Try to save your money as much as possible, because this transit is going to make sure that your saved money is drained out. Okay, so whatever savings you have, try to hold on to it. Do not make any risky investments during this period. Just try to stay put as far as jobs are concerned. Whatever job you have, you should try to maintain. Sorry, I got a phone call here, and so try to maintain a good and cordial relationship with your with your colleagues. Try to make good cordial relationships with your managers, with your bosses, and also be very careful as far as the health of your parents is concerned. Okay, this is the time when extreme health issues can come up as far as your parents are concerned as well. So overall, I would say this is a very tough period. But again, like I keep mentioning in my other videos as well, that this period should not be taken as negative only, because you have to look at other transits, other planets, like Jupiter, which stays in one zodiac sign for a long time. Take into consideration whether Jupiter transit is helping you or not, and if that transit is favorable for you. So many of this tough transit for you, where Saturn is moving into your 12th house from the natal moon, can be nullified or balanced to a great extent. That is one. Other planets have to be taken into consideration, which stay in one zodiac sign for a long time, like Rahu and Ketu. If they are favorable for you, then many of this negative impact of impacts of this Saturn transit into the 12th house from natal moon can be balanced to a great extent. Also, what else? Look at the dashas. Yes, the dashas are very important, because if those dashas are favorable for you, your operating periods are favorable for you, then you're in good shape. You do not have to worry a lot about this inauspicious transit into the 12th house. So generally, I've seen, when the transits are tough, then God somehow makes a situation where your dashas could be positive. It generally doesn't come as a negative impact, where all the transits are negative for you and the dashas are also negative for you, or the operating periods are negative for you. So look at your dashas. If you're in a favorable dasha or an operating period of a good planet, which is favoring you, then many of the negative impact of this transit into the 12th house from natal moon can be balanced to a great extent. Now, as far as remedies are concerned, I do not like to give general remedies like most astrologers like to, because I feel it has to be analyzed based on your natal birth chart in detail by a qualified Vedic astrologer. So do not just perform any kind of general remedy. Go to a Vedic astrologer, get your chart analyzed, and then, of course, if remedies are required, then go ahead and perform those. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, and in the meanwhile, like I always mention, please subscribe to my channel and check out my website. There is a link below, and I will see you with an interesting topic on Vedic astrology very soon. Goodbye.